The quiet life Maya stood behind the counter of her small bookshop, watching rain streak down the windows. For 8 years, she had lived this simple life in the quiet town of Millbrook. No one knew about her past. No one knew what she could do. Bell above the door chimed as old Mr. Thompson entered, shaking water from his coat. "Morning, Maya. Got any new mystery novels?" She smiled and pointed to the display near the window. "Just got a shipment yesterday. The new detective series everyone's talking about." As Mr. Thompson browsed, Maya returned to organizing inventory. Her hands moved with practiced efficiency, but her mind wandered to the dreams that still haunted her nights. Dreams of soaring through clouds, of feeling the wind beneath her wings, of the freedom she had given up 8 years ago. She had been Captain Maya Rodriguez of the Global Defense Force. She had been humanity's first and only natural flyer. While others needed machines and engines, she could lift herself into the sky with nothing but her will and the strange energy that flowed through her body. The government had called her a miracle. The media had called her a hero. But Maya had called it a curse. After the accident, the one that had killed her entire squadron, while she flew untouched through the explosion, she had walked away. She had hidden her abilities, buried her past, and become just another face in the crowd. The day passed like any other. She helped customers find books, recommended new titles, and counted the register. But as evening approached, something felt different. The air seemed to hum with an energy she hadn't felt in years. Maya locked the shop and climbed the stairs to her small apartment above. She made dinner, watched the news, and tried to ignore the strange tingling in her bones. But as night fell, the sensation grew stronger. She stepped onto her balcony and looked up at the stars. They seemed brighter than usual, almost pulsing with light. A chill ran down her spine, but not from the cold. Somewhere in the distance, she heard a sound like thunder, but the sky was clear. The humming in the air grew stronger, and Maya felt something she hadn't experienced in 8 years, the urge to fly. She gripped the balcony railing and forced herself to stay grounded. Those days were over. She was normal now. She was safe, but deep in her heart, she knew that safety was about to end. Asterisk. The invasion began at dawn. Maya woke to the sound of screaming and the smell of smoke. She rushed to her window and saw ships, massive, dark vessels that blocked out the morning sun. They moved without sound, casting shadows over the town like giant predators. Her phone buzzed with emergency alerts. The news showed the same scene playing out across the globe. Alien ships had appeared overnight in every major city and many smaller towns. The creatures inside were unlike anything humanity had ever imagined. Maya grabbed her emergency bag and headed for the door, but stopped when she saw Mr. Thompson stumbling down the street below. His face was pale with terror, and behind him, something moved in the shadows between the buildings. The alien stepped into view, and Maya's breath caught. It was tall and thin, with gray skin that seemed to shift like liquid metal. Its eyes were large and dark, and when it moved, it didn't walk, it glided, as if gravity meant nothing to it. The creature raised a weapon that looked like twisted glass and aimed it at Mr. Thompson. Maya watched in horror as the old man fell to his knees, his body convulsing as some kind of energy beam hit him. Without thinking, Maya felt the old power stir within her. Her feet left the ground, and she crashed through her window, glass raining down around her as she flew toward the street. The alien turned its dark eyes toward her, and for a moment they stared at each other. Maya could see intelligence there, and something else surprised Dot. She landed hard between the creature and Mr. Thompson, her hands glowing with the same energy that kept her airborne. "Leave him alone." The alien tilted its head and spoke in a voice that sounded like wind through metal. "Interesting. You are not like the others." More aliens emerged from the shadows surrounding her. Maya felt her power building, crackling through her veins like electricity. She hadn't used it in 8 years, but it felt as natural as breathing. "We came seeking the Skyborn," the first alien continued. "We did not expect to find one hiding among the groundwalkers." Maya's eyes narrowed. "Skyborn?" "Those who fly without machines. Those who touch the void between worlds. We have searched many planets, but your kind is rare." Behind her, Mr. Thompson struggled to his feet. Maya could hear other humans crying out in fear and pain throughout the town. The aliens weren't just invading, they were hunting. "Why?" she demanded. "What do you want?" The alien's liquid metal skin rippled, and Maya realized it might be smiling. "To take you home. To show you what you really are." "I know what I am," Maya said, rising higher into the air. "I'm human." "No," the alien replied. "You are so much more." The other creatures raised their weapons, and Maya felt her power surge. The quiet life was over. The woman who had pretended to be normal was gone. Captain Maya Rodriguez had returned. Maya's power exploded outward like a shockwave. The alien weapons shattered in their hands, and several of the creatures were thrown backward into the walls of nearby buildings. She had forgotten how good it felt to let the energy flow freely, but her moment of triumph was short-lived. More aliens poured from the ships above, and Maya realized she was badly outnumbered. She grabbed Mr. Thompson and lifted him into the air, carrying him to safety on a nearby rooftop. "Stay hidden," she told him, then launched herself back into the battle. The aliens moved within human speed, but Maya was faster. She darted between their energy blasts, using her flight to attack from angles they couldn't predict. Her hands blazed with power as she struck them down one by one. But for every alien she defeated, 2 more appeared. They seemed endless, pouring from their ships like a dark tide. Maya began to realize that this wasn't just an invasion. It was a trap. They had come for her specifically. As she fought, she heard the alien leader's voice echoing through the air. "You cannot hide forever, Skyborn. We know what you are capable of. We have seen your kind before." Maya paused in her assault, hovering above the chaos. "What do you mean, you've seen my kind?" "On distant worlds in other galaxies. Always the same pattern. Always the same power. You are not unique, human. You are part of something greater." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. She had always assumed her abilities were some kind of human mutation, a 1 in a billion chance. But if there were others like her on other worlds— "You're lying," she shouted, but doubt crept into her voice. "Am I? Tell me, Skyborn, have you never wondered why you can fly? Why you can touch the energy between atoms? Why you survived when others died?" Maya's mind raced back to the accident 8 years ago, the explosion that had killed her squadron. She had been flying directly through the blast zone, but the energy had passed through her harmlessly, almost as if she had absorbed it. "The accident?" she whispered. "No accident," the alien leader replied. "A test. We have been watching you for years, waiting for you to accept what you are." Rage boiled up inside Maya. "You killed my friends. We revealed your true nature. Those who fly do not die from energy weapons. Those who touch the void cannot be harmed by explosions. You survived because you are not entirely human." Maya's power flared brighter than ever before. The air around her began to shimmer with heat, and the remaining aliens stepped back in fear. "I don't care what I am," she snarled. "I'm not going with you. Then you will watch your adopted world burn." The alien leader raised a device that looked like a crystal prism. Light began to gather inside it, growing brighter and more intense. Maya could feel the energy building enough to level the entire town. She had a choice to make. She could flee, disappear again, and hope the aliens would eventually give up their search. Or she could fight, knowing that every moment she stayed put more innocent people at risk. Maya thought of Mr. Thompson, cowering on the rooftop. She thought of her customers, her quiet life, her peaceful existence. She thought of all the people who would die if she ran. The choice was easy. Maya shot toward the alien leader like a comet, her entire body blazing with power. The creature tried to dodge, but she was too fast. She struck the device with both hands, and the crystal shattered, releasing all its stored energy at once. The explosion should have killed them both. Instead, Maya felt the energy flow into her, filling her with more power than she had ever experienced. She could feel her consciousness expanding, touching something vast and ancient that existed between the stars. For a moment, she saw the truth. She saw other worlds, other Skyborn, other battles like this one. She saw a war that had been raging across the galaxy for millennia, and she saw that humanity was not alone. The alien leader stared at her in shock as she landed, energy still crackling around her body. Impossible. You are not ready for that level of power. Maya smiled grimly. I guess your tests were wrong. But even as she spoke, she could feel the alien reinforcements approaching. This was just the beginning. Asterisk. The Skyborn awakening, the energy Maya had absorbed, changed everything. As she stood facing the alien leader, she could feel her consciousness expanding beyond her physical body. She was aware of every human in the town, every alien ship in the eye, sky, and something else, a presence she had never noticed before. Other Skyborn. They were scattered across Earth, hidden like she had been, but now they were awakening. She could feel them stirring, their powers responding to hers like an echo. You feel them now, the alien leader said, his liquid metal skin rippling with what might have been satisfaction. Your true family. Maya's head spun with the new sensations. There was someone in Tokyo, someone else in New York, another in London. All of them were like her. All of them were waking up. We are not a family, Maya said through gritted teeth. We're human. Are you? Look around you, Skyborn. Look at your power. Look at what you can do that they cannot. Maya glanced down at the street below. The people who had come out of their homes and shops were staring up at her with a mixture of awe and fear. Some were recording with their phones. Others were praying. None of them looked at her like she was one of them. You have spent years hiding among them, the alien continued, pretending to be weak, pretending to be ordinary. But you know the truth. You know you are different. Different doesn't mean I'm not human. Maya shot back, but her voice lacked conviction. The alien leader gestured to his remaining forces, and they began to withdraw toward their ships. We do not need to take you by force, Skyborn. Soon you will come to us willingly. Why would I do that? Because your awakening has been detected. Others are coming. Others who will not be as patient as we have been. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the morning air. What others? The hunters. They seek to destroy what they cannot control. They have purged entire worlds of Skyborn, leaving nothing but ash and silence. The alien ships began to rise, preparing to leave. The leader's voice echoed down to her one last time. You have perhaps days before they arrive. Use that time wisely, Skyborn. Decide whether you will stand with your true kind or die with the humans you pretend to be. Maya watched the ships disappear into the clouds, then slowly descended to the street. The crowd that had gathered kept their distance, whispering among themselves. She could hear fragments of their conversations. ... Not human ... Government experiment ... Dangerous ... Mr. Thompson pushed through the crowd and approached her. His face was pale, but his eyes were kind. Maya, are you all right? She looked at him, This man who had been her customer for 8 years, who had never asked questions about her past, who had always treated her with simple human kindness. "I don't know, Mr. Thompson. I honestly don't know." "Well," he said, straightening his shoulders, "whatever you are, you saved my life. That's good enough for me." A few others in the crowd nodded agreement, but Maya could see the fear in their eyes. The comfortable life she had built was crumbling around her. Her phone buzzed with incoming calls and messages. The media had gotten wind of the incident. The government would be next. She had perhaps hours before they came looking for her. But, more importantly, she could feel the other Skyborn more clearly now. They were confused, frightened, and most of them had no idea what was happening to them. They needed guidance, and somehow she had become their leader. Maya closed her eyes and reached out with her newly expanded awareness. She found the one in Tokyo, first a young man who had been hiding his abilities since childhood. Then the woman in New York, who had been secretly using her powers to help people. One by one, she touched their minds, letting them know they were not alone. The response was immediate. They reached back, their consciousness joining with hers, creating a network of power that spanned the globe. Maya gasped at the intensity of it. Together, they were far stronger than any of them could be alone. But she could also sense something else now, a darkness approaching from the edges of the solar system. The hunters were coming, just as the alien had warned. Maya opened her eyes and looked up at the sky. The quiet life was truly over now. She was no longer just a woman who could fly. She was the leader of a species that didn't even know it existed, and she had to prepare them for war. 3 days later, Maya stood on the roof of her bookshop, watching the sky. The government had cordoned off the town, but they hadn't tried to capture her. They were smart enough to know they COULDN single quotes T dot below. The streets were empty, except for military vehicles and soldiers. The residents had been evacuated, told it was for their own safety. Maya suspected they were right. She had spent the last 3 days in constant contact with the other Skyborn. There were more of them than she had initially realized, nearly 50 scattered across the globe. Most had been in hiding, just like her. Some had been trying to use their powers to help people in secret. A few had been captured by their governments and experimented on. Maya had freed those she could, using her expanded awareness to guide them to safety. But she knew it wasn't enough. The hunters were less than a day away, and humanity was about to face a threat unlike anything in their history. The alien leader who had told her his name was Vex had returned as promised. He stood beside her now, his liquid metal skin reflecting the afternoon sun. "The hunter ships will arrive at sunset," he said. "They will give no warning, no chance for surrender. They will simply begin the purge." Maya nodded, her eyes still fixed on the horizon. "How many ships?" "A full fleet. Perhaps 1,000 vessels." "And you? Will your people help us?" Vex was quiet for a long moment. "We are not warriors, Skyborn. We are seekers, collectors of knowledge. We hope to preserve your kind, but we cannot stand against the hunters in open battle." Maya had expected as much. The Skyborn would have to face this alone. She reached out with her mind, touching each of her fellow Skyborn around the world. They were afraid, but they were ready. In 3 days, they had learned to work together, to combine their powers, in ways Maya had never imagined possible. "It's time," she said. One by one, they began to rise. In Tokyo, London, New York, Sydney, and dozens of other cities, figures lifted into the sky, their bodies blazing with energy. They left behind their hidden lives, their secret identities, their pretense of being normal. Maya felt them coming, crossing oceans and continents to join her. The first to arrive was the young man from Tokyo. He called himself Kai. He was barely 20, but his power was enormous. Next came the woman from New York, Dr. Lisa Chun, who had been secretly healing people with her abilities. Then the others, one by one, until the sky above Millbrook was filled with blazing figures. So few, Vex observed, against so many. Maya looked at her fellow Skyborn, these people who had lived their entire lives believing they were alone. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," she said. "We're fighting for everyone who can't fight back." The sun began to set, and Maya felt the hunters approach like a cold wind. Their ships appeared at the edge of the atmosphere, sleek, black, vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Remember," Maya said to her companions, "we're not trying to win. We're trying to buy time. Let the humans see what we can do. Let them know they're not alone in the universe." The hunter ships descended like a plague of locusts. Maya had fought many battles in her military career, but nothing like this. These enemies moved with mechanical precision, their weapons designed specifically to kill Skyborn. The battle was brutal and swift. Maya and her fellow Skyborn fought with everything they had, their combined power lighting up the sky like a second sun. They destroyed dozens of hunter ships, but more kept coming. One by one, Maya watched her companions fall. Kai was the first, overwhelmed by a coordinated attack. Dr. Chun was next, sacrificing herself to protect a group of evacuating civilians. The others followed, their lights going out one by one. Finally, Maya stood alone in the sky, surrounded by 1,000 enemy ships. She was exhausted, her power nearly spent, but she refused to give up. "You cannot win," the hunter commander transmitted to her. "Surrender, and your death will be swift." Maya looked down at the earth below, at the billions of people who were depending on her. She thought of Mr. Thompson, of her quiet bookshop, of the normal life she had given up. "I'm not trying to win," she said. "I'm trying to show them what they can become." Maya gathered the last of her power and released it all at once. The explosion was visible from space, a beacon of light that announced to the universe that humanity would not go quietly into the night. The Skyborn were gone, but their legacy had just begun. Asterisk